Well, folks, thanks for coming tonight to this presentation on family search. I've seen some of you at some of our meetings. Actually, I think I've seen most of you at our meetings. If you have family search already, if you have an account, and if you have two devices, either a phone with family search on the app or another computer, it may be handy to follow along a little bit, but we're going to go through a lot of things. I am going to stop several times. So I will stop several times throughout the presentation and say, are there questions? And then we'll do a little bit longer at the end. So if you will just kind of wait for me to get through a segment, then I'll ask you if there are some questions and we can take questions from people, okay? So I'm going to share my screen, and thanks again for joining. We're not going to talk a lot about how to sign up for family search right now, but if you still need to do that, go to familysearch.org, and I'm going to type that here in the chat. Let's see, here it goes. I'm just going to type that in the chat really fast. And then you can create a free account for yourself really easily. Once you sign up for one, it will send your email a link, and then you go into your email and click, yes, I did want to accept that. And so then you'll have a free account. So now I'm going to actually show you family search on the computer here for a second. So once you get into family search, it should look like this on your home screen. Your home screen kind of looks a little bit like Facebook, where there's a feed on the left-hand side, and the feed changes each day depending on family members that you're connected to in family search. And so this is the feed on the left, and it shows me pictures and documents from people that are in my family that have been posting things recently. I'm going to go back to the presentation in a minute, but I wanted to just show you that's what the left-hand side is. And then on the right-hand side, we'll have some more features that we talk about. And we're going to talk about the special 5 that are up on the top, the family tree, the search, memories, get involved in the activities. But I wanted to go back to the presentation for a second that I made for you folks. Okay, so family search. Anybody knows me knows I love Star Wars. But family search is kind of like this: do or do not, there is no try. And I put this quote on here because no matter what you're trying to do on family search, whether you're trying to add documents or find stories about your family or learn to index and be able to do service that way, as soon as you get into family search, there's something for everybody to do. You're no longer trying. We can't all do everything in family history, right? We have to all pick our own kind of niches that we do that. So family search is a really neat database that allows us to do lots of different things. So I'm going to see if I can click. Oh, here it comes. So this is what family search does for us. It is the world's largest free family history database. It's a worldwide database. It's not just local to the United States. It's not just local to the UK. It's for the entire world. There's actually a language toggle on the top that you can choose, and it will change the language, the country that you're in. It's operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but not just members of the church can have an account. Anybody can have a free account. The church has changed it over the years. It used to be 12 and then 11. And now if you're 8 years old and older with a parent's permission, you may have an account on family search. And these are some things I just actually heard this last weekend, and I thought they were really interesting, so I put them in here. There are 1 million names added daily worldwide right now to family search. And it contains 17 petabytes of family records. And 1 petabyte is about 1 quadrillion bytes, which is a lot. I asked my husband about that, and I thought, I can't even really comprehend that. But the features and the records are constantly being updated. And so they are paying for the digital rights to records, just like Ancestry does, but it's not connected to Ancestry. I get that question a lot. Is family search connected to Ancestry? Can I just import my Ancestry tree over to family search? And you can't. They're completely separate. And so I actually have trees in both places, but I no longer completely make my tree exactly the same in both places anymore. When I'm in Family Search, they've developed to the point where it's amazing how connected you are to people across the whole world. Anybody who is deceased, you can see those who are deceased in Family Search. And if they are a living person, you cannot see them. They used to say you have to die to be on the IGI. And that is true. If somebody's living, other people won't be able to see you in Family Search. So I wanted to go back into my presentation for a second on the family tree. Let me stop this for a second. Stop this share. Sorry, it takes me a minute to go back and forth. And so we're back here in Family Search again now. Now, these are the main toggles on the top. I'm going to click on Family Tree. And if I go into the tree toggle, or the tree button here, it's going to show you my tree. Now, I have selected a different person right now that is not me, but you will be the one that is the center when you start your family tree. And I can show you how to select different people and make them the center. But this is one of my great grandpas. And if I was creating a tree for myself, the first thing I would do is I would add a person. I would add my name and my birth date and any vital information that I wanted to add. Then I would add my parents. I'd add my dad and I'd add my mom. And I'm going to show you how to do this. And you won't still be able to connect with anybody on Family Search yet. Because, well, for me, my parents are still living. But my grandparents have all recently passed. And so if I add my grandparents to my tree, then they are in Family Tree and they are in Family Search, and I'll be able to see them and connect with anybody else who has seen them too. So when you very first start with Family Search, your account, the most important step is to add yourself and your parents and your grandparents. And as soon as you get to somebody who's deceased, maybe your great-great-grandma is in Family Search already, then whoever's connected to her will show up in your tree. So it is a shared family tree. Do you have any questions right now about that? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and then I want to go back to the other presentation for here. So this is kind of an overview of the features that Family Search allows you to do. And I've broken them down depending on the tabs that are at the top of Family Search. So if you're in Family Search right now and you go up to the top, these are some of the things that you will see as you hover over them. And this tutorial is not going to be like a manual forever. Sometimes they move things. Sometimes Family Search moves where buttons are and tabs are. One week I'll have known where something was, and the next week I know it's still there, but sometimes it's in a slightly different place. But for right now, Family Tree, it's going to show me where the tree is, what I just showed you, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. The people that I can look at individually, and then how to find somebody, and then how to follow somebody, and then my contributions, I can see that. I wanted to go over this really fast, and then we're going to go back into the actual Family Search. If you go to the search bar, you can kind of get an overview of why you would be searching on Family Search. And then you can search specifically for records. So if you're in Ancestry and you have a call number that says Family History Library in Salt Lake City, there's a place in records where you can go and you can put that call number in specifically, and it will bring you to that record. You can also search individually for images. You can look at other people's family trees, just like you do on Ancestry. You can also look up genealogies. There's a catalog. You can look specific books up. Now, this is really fun. I'm going to show you how to use that. And then the Research Wiki is one of the most valuable tools on Family Search. It's like Wikipedia, except it's all contained within the Family Search database. And so everything on there is still within the database. So maybe some of you are familiar with Cindy's List. And Cindy's List used to be, it still exists, a big database with different, reliable buttons on how to get to this cemetery and how to get to this record. Well, that's what the Research Wiki will do for you. Once you learn how to use that, then you can type in a certain county or locality, and it will give you a really cool page similar to Wikipedia. So the third great big thing that Family Search does is we can add memories really easily. Everybody who has a Family Search account has their own gallery where the photos that you save are kept there. And then you can also add memories to individual people, and you can find different things. And that is, you can find experiences, you know, like the people on my feed were sharing pictures and photos of my ancestors. You can find things like that. And then Family Search is a great opportunity to do family history service. There are lots of opportunities that we'll talk about for a minute and show you where those are. You can specifically sign up for indexing batches. So if you speak French and you want to index French records as a service, you can sign up for French records. If you speak Spanish, you can sign up for those. If you just want to do United States records, you can request to stick within the United States records. And then you can also sign up right now to do the US Census, and you can sign up to be part of a group to help index that, which is super cool. So we're going to go back into Family Search again, but then the fifth one was activities. I'm going to just kind of show you what they are, but each one of these you can spend a lot of time on. This is really fun. These are fun activities to do like at family reunions or with your children or with yourself. If you're just kind of wondering, what should I do for family history? I want to do something fun. Activities is a great place to start. Then there's the Help Center. The Help Center is where you would go to find resources. For example, to contact us, you can talk to somebody at Family Search 24/7, except on Sundays. And so people around the world, if you're working on Family Search at midnight here and you have a question, you can actually connect with somebody. You can call a phone number, you can connect with somebody, you can email Family Search, and you can get direct help for what you're working on with your family. I've done that a number of times, and I still use that sometimes. And then helper resources, you can sign on as a helper to help somebody. Say you have a family member that wants to do family history, but they don't do technology very well. You can help them fill out their tree, kind of as a surrogate, helping to sign on as them, but it's different. I'll show you how to do that. And then there's more. You can message people directly. It's super cool. They don't give you lots of specifics. I mean, they're not going to give this person's phone number and address when you do it. Whatever their username is, you can message them directly. And that's all the information you see unless you choose to share that in the message thread. Just kind of like you do with Facebook Messenger, honestly. You can change the language. For those who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there are temple ordinance service opportunities to take family names to the temple. There are also record hints. This is something I spent a lot of my time doing. A lot of people don't know how to go through record hints and attaching those. I like to do that because then people behind me know this is a real person and they don't have to wonder, why is this a real person or not? But if I take the time to go through the record hints like the censuses and then attach them, then those are real documents that prove these are real people, and the other people behind me don't have to worry about it. And then you can fix place names. That's another service opportunity. Sometimes people don't standardize what they put in the database. And if you don't standardize it, the database is only as searchable as how we enter that information. So if you would just put, sometimes people they spell the county's names wrong, or they'll put the county, and then it used to be we could put CO dot and then a comma, and then we'd put the state or whatever. Well, genealogy has kind of been more standardized across the world now. So we just put the county and then our comma and then our state and then our country. And if we know the city, we can put that in, or the township. But if you have it in kind of funny, then it's not going to search for those records and pull them in as hints for you. And so that's also something I do. Sometimes I'll go through and I will just clean up fixed place names for other people. That's something I feel like I can do as a service. And then there are family history groups that you can start, and you can invite your own family and share names with them. I'm still getting used to that. I just created my very first family history group today. I've known about it for a little bit. And I think that has only been like a feature for about a year, but I did that. So I'm going to go back to Family Search now. And in Family Search, let's see, here we are. Okay. So I'm in Family Search again, and this is my great grandpa. But before I make him, if I click on his name, it brings, I call this an index card. Like we used to create things on index cards a lot of time. I call this my grandpa's index card. And if I click on this, it will enlarge it and it'll take me to his main vital page. But I'm going to back out of this for just a second. I want to show you how cool this other, this page is. So right now I have this pedigree. This is a tree format. I can change it from fan chart to portrait. If I prefer portrait, I can change it to portrait. And some people like that better than the other way. You can also do a descendancy chart, first ancestor. You can do landscape portrait or a landscape tree or a portrait tree. I'm going to go back into fan chart because I want to show you some of the cool things you can do with this. If I click on this button here, and I can go zoom in and out, and I can also change how many generations I see. I can make it like 7 generations or 6 generations. Not everybody goes back on my great grandpa, so I'm going to keep it right here for now. But if I click on this button, this is where I change the generations that I'll see. And then I can change what I'm seeing. It's color coded different ways. So if I click on birthplaces, it gives me a key where people in this particular tree were born. I can see where people in the United States were born, people in Denmark, British colonial America. And so if I'm doing family history and I know a lot about Denmark, maybe this will help me direct me to a place in my tree where I want to do research. And again, I can look at sources and it says, here's the key. 0 means there aren't any, and then I can see by color how many sources are attached. So if I want to do family history work, I might say, okay, I'm really good at American records, and I want to look over here at Robert Lott because he doesn't have very many sources attached. I want to see if I can research and add some sources. So stories, ooh, I don't have very many stories at all. I need to add some for my grandpa. Photos, I know there's some photos of my great grandpa. And then research helps. He doesn't have any blue ones right here, but a lot of times I'll see blue record hints. The data problems means there's something wrong. Research suggestions. So Stephen Lott, okay, he's one of the ones I was thinking about. This might be a good place if I don't know where to start on my family tree to kind of look. And this again only happens after you go and attach people. But I'm going to click on my great grandpa and I'm going to make him a person. And I'm going to move this, whoops, I'm going to move this over here so I can see this page. And I'm going to notice that this is his main page. This is Stephen Peterson's main page. It has a life sketch toggle that I can add for vitals. I can edit things really easily by the hyperlinks. I always want to add his name. If he had a middle name and I wanted to add it, I would just click on edit. So once you add something, it changes for everybody in the tree because it's a shared tree. But if you want to make sure that somebody doesn't unchange it again, people used to be really worried about that. You don't have to worry about that as much anymore because of all the sources that are attached that document this is a real person. And if I wanted to change, so somebody has said his middle name was not Charles. If I wanted to change it, then I would put my reasons for wanting to change it there. And chances are most people in my family they're not going to change it. If you do find somebody that's changing things and they're not supposed to, what you do is you send an email to the help center and say, look, so-and-so keeps changing this. Please have them stop, and they'll put a block on that and you don't have to worry about it anymore. I've only heard of that happening once where somebody has done that. So usually, like if I find more information, I can add it anytime. I'm going to cancel, get back out of this. Let's see here. Cancel. Okay. Just want to cancel it. How do I cancel it, Brian? Okay, there it goes.
Just take this time. Yeah.
Okay. So this shows me underneath my great grandpa, it shows me some of the areas he lived, but I'm going to expand this one. Vitals is not open. This is the most important thing to fill out on family tree if you want to find records and if you want to find more people. So we find people just like on Ancestry by looking at the records. And so the most important thing for me to fill out would be to add his vitals if they're not there, to add his birthplace in this format, meaning the date, the month, the year, and then the place, the town, the county, the state, and the country, and then his death place if I know it. His christening date. A lot of my family members have christening dates in there that I've added or that other people have added. And then his burial place. Now this isn't very specific. What I'd like to do later is to edit this so it says the name of the cemetery, because I don't really like it if I say I want to visit my great grandpa's grave and I don't know which cemetery it is in Louisville. One of the things I take time to do is I try to make this as accurate as possible, because then if I do, then you'll notice Find a Grave is attached over here as a source already. But sometimes Find a Grave does not attach as a hint, and then you can add it as a source unless you put the name of the cemetery before you put the city. So that's something that I would do later. Now, I haven't spent a long time adding my great grandpa because I have somebody else in our family who works on that line. And there are lines that I do work on more. But if I go down to the bottom, I'll see, actually, I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom yet. There's this other tab that calls Other Information. This is really important when you're adding vital information. You can add sources and residences and things, but this button right here where it says Add Information is like my favorite button. I love this button. I love this button. So I can add alternate names. And the reason this is important is because there's so many ways that people are known. And so if you take time and you add like 4 or 5 different alternate names for your ancestor, well, what that does is it goes out into the database and it allows it to bring more data and more information in to connect it to your family. So it's very important. So right here, it says also known as. So what I could do, like if he's known as Steve, I could put Steve in there and I might put that as a nickname. If it's a woman, I might put her married name in there, because we know when we do family search names, when we add them, we should always add the woman with her maiden name, just like we do when we're doing ancestry. Birth name, you know, sometimes their names change. So I can click what I wanted to do here and I could add Stephen here. And the reason why it's correct, it says there are 32 past contributors. So if you're following that person, they'll be notified of it. And so if there's somebody you're worried about like changing things on you, you can follow them. I'm going to go back up to the top. Following somebody is up here at the top of this person. I'm going to move this again here. So right here, you can see, I could see view as tree, and it would take me back to what I was showing you earlier. I can also star this, and I can star it, and now it tells me I'm following my great grandpa, which means that if there's somebody I'm really hoping for more information to be found on, because information is being added like all the time. If I really want to find more information about somebody and I don't know if I'm going to be checking on them all the time, I can click on that star for following, and Family Search will send me an email when there's a new record or a hint for that person. I can also view my relationship, which is super cool. I love this feature, and it shows me that this is my relationship to my grandpa. And it tells me who the relationship is. And depending on how long of a tree, it will show you exactly how you're related to that person. I always try to make sure I'm doing family history work on my family. Even if they're a cousin or something, I do family history work on my family. And I check, you know, my relationship as I'm adding names. So now along the bottom, going back to this add information button, this button is super cool because you can add, if they were cremated, immigration dates, military service, naturalization, occupation is one I use a lot, religious affiliation, residences, you can see these are residences added, whether they were stillborn, custom events. You can even add national Native American tribes. You can say whether they had no children or not. You can add race and ethnicities, custom fact. So if I want to add something in particular, like a note, what I do is I go here to custom fact, and I use this all the time. Say, for example, I want to add something, copy and paste it from Find a Grave, because Find a Grave has obituaries a lot of times on them. What I would do is I would either add a custom fact right here, And I would say the title of the custom fact, this is what I would do. I usually say from find a grave. And then I can copy and paste it in here. And whenever it's something from find a grave, I would use quotation marks. Description of my fact. You can be very specific on this. You can also save things as a source. This is one place to save something. And then I would copy and paste the biography or autobiography there. And that's not, you know, super detailed. So I'll have to go back and do that later some more. But there's another place you could also do that. It would be underneath life sketch. So sometimes I'll add something from find a grave right here underneath life sketch. And so if there's something you want to add and you're not sure where to do it, you can either do life sketch if it's a lot of life information, or you can go back into add information and you can go down to the custom fact and add something there. Or you can go into sources and add a source. You can create your own source. And the sources are viewed differently. So we'll show that in a minute. Do you have any questions right now for me?
Yes.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm interested in tracking known genetic anomalies.
Yeah.
So would custom facts be a place to park those data?
Exactly. That would be the best place. And the reason why is if I hide something in sources, it's over here. There's a long list of sources. The sources have different icons and it tells you whether they're a family search. This is a family search source, like something that they paid the rights for a census that has been added, or I'm looking for a legacy source. This one's legacy source. And this means that this was added prior to family search existing, back when they were putting people's paths. You remember the path program? When they were putting them in here, this is a legacy source. And so sources are awesome, but if you were wanting to add genetic information, it might get lost here. However, the main page, like the index card for people, is on details. So if you want other people behind you to really know something, I would put it here underneath details. And so whatever you add, see, I just added that. It wasn't detailed, but it's right here on the main page. So if you want to add genetic information particularly, they haven't had a tab for that yet. They may do that someday, but for right now, I think that would be a perfect place to put it. I think that's a great idea. And you can also do things like, you know, you might experiment with physical description if you are in a World War I or World War II draft card. You know how sometimes it says ruddy. I was just asking my husband, okay, so what does ruddy really mean? You know, when I, but that would be someplace that you could put his physical or her physical description in there. So we spent a long time on this, but we haven't quite showed you everything actually on this page yet. On the right-hand side, research helps. There are no research right now to be added because people are really keen on my great-grandpa, and there are 39 sources already attached to him. But if there was a new hint, it would pop up right here. And then there, I can search records right here. I can be affiliate with these. I can sign in and work with some of the other, you know, companies that are doing things. These are the latest changes that have been added. My mom's first cousin added a photo in April. I just added that fact, even though it didn't have any details. And so I added a photo back in October for my great-grandpa. And so these are the recent changes or recent things that have been happening. Possible duplicates, there are none for him. Find similar people, merged by ID. This is very important. I'm going to show you how to do that later. Report abuse. This is where you would go if somebody is changing your family tree like all the time. This happens with famous people sometimes, more often than like just normal family members like us. If somebody was famous 150 years ago, somebody might be changing their tree, and they've actually frozen a lot of those accounts. So you have to request to add certain things, like if you have a new document or something for that person, if they're in your family. But this would be where you could report abuse, or you can send them a direct email. I don't do this one, but Yeah, I've used it before. And then this is where you would want go if you want to print. Like, remember we used to do our family group sheets? If you want to print a family group sheet, this is where you do it. You just go into here, and I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. And this shows you the family group sheet for like the ones that we used to have. If you go into the libraries, you can still find them. And so maybe some of you want to print your family group sheet still and keep a hard copy of it for yourself. You can still do that right here. Really easy to find. I just need to find where I was. Okay, so this is where I print things. I can print it in pedigree. I can print a fan chart view, which is super cool. And I could do the family pedigree, or excuse me, the family group chart with sources here too. So those are some of the really most interesting things that you really want to make sure you do. Now for the tree, going back into the tree again for a second, I was at my grandpa, and if I go to person, then it will show me where I just was. If I go to recents, this is a shortcut button I use all the time. It shows me the people that I've most recently been looking at today. Or, I mean, if you haven't used it for a month, it will show you who you were most recently looking at in the last month. There's no time date on it. It's more like amount of people. I think there are probably like 30 people-ish on how recent you look at people. And so one of the people I wanted to look at right now, and I'm going to take you to him in a second, is Franklin O. Booth. And I have a paper I need to get out for a minute because I have to show you something interesting.
You're a Booth?
Franklin O. Booth. And okay, so this person is from Ohio. I have family members from Ohio, from Guernsey County and Guernsey County. And I want to make sure I know which one he is. Just a second. Are you the right one, Franklin? I want to keep. I don't want to keep you. Okay, but I'm going to go into him for a minute. So this is Franklin Booth. Now, sometimes when people are indexing, they will create 12 of the same person. So for example, you're indexing and you have a family with 12 children, they will create 12 parents. And they're not taking time to do the family history, right? They're indexing, that's their job right then, which is fine. But sometimes you'll get duplicates. And so I'm gonna open up family members right here for Franklin. Okay, and I'll see here that Franklin doesn't have any other information, but he has his parents, and then he has a lot of siblings. And if I look down, I have two Franklins. I have two Franklins. They're both born 1897. What do? I know I don't have two Franklins because I've been to the cemetery where their family's buried. It's over in Tuscarawas County, that area. And I know this family. I know these people. And so I know that there are not two Franklins, but I'm going to take time to look at both of them. This is the first Franklin. So let's see, what does he have? He's got basic information. He doesn't have any sources. I want to see when he was added. Just curious. I'm curious. So he was added in 2012 by Family Search. That's really important for me because anybody who was added in 2012 by Family Search, I know was added when they were creating Family Search from all of the paths that people were individually importing in. So it's like a legacy. So that's a clue for me. He's a really old person that has been in there a long time. But he was already just there. Nobody specifically added him to the tree. So I thought, okay, well, that's good to know. He was added in 2012 by Family Search, and that's just something to look at. So I want to decide which one am I going to keep. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go look at my other Franklin. And so I'll get this index card here of him again, and then I have to click on person to make him bigger. Now, I clearly need to do more research on Franklin. I don't know when he died. I don't know if he was an infant. I do not know when he died. But without going to Ancestry right now, or without going to the graveyard, cemetery, anything else, I do know that there are already two sources attached to Franklin here that prove that he's a real person. And when I go into the source, I always take time to actually go into the real source, into the real document, just like I'm sure a lot of you do. And that's the cool thing about Family Search. Just like Ancestor, you can open it up and you can see the real documents. You can zoom in and you can see everything that's right there. So I'm gonna have to zoom in here, and I might have changed what I just did. Okay. But I'm gonna zoom in, and I've already taken time to look at this, so I don't want to spend a long time on the presentation. But I would zoom in and I would find my person, and I can check, when he was born in the census. So I'm going to go back out of that. Previous, I don't want that. Sorry, sometimes I don't know if confused is the right word, but they have so many toggles on the top here. And I have a zoom screen on the top that I'm trying to figure out which button to back out of it, because that's just going to take me to the previous image. So where do I go? Here he is. Okay. So he's right here again. So I can see the source. I think that this is the guy I want to keep, because the other guy is he doesn't have as much information. So it doesn't always say possible duplicates, but right here it does. So I'm going to click on possible duplicates, and it's going to say, okay, review merge. So I can review the merge for these two people. And this is something that I personally take time to do on Family Search. Not everybody feels comfortable merging it, but a lot of times you can't go forward in family history work until you clean up all the duplicates.
Same birthday.
It's the same birthday.
Exactly.
And I know this family, so I feel comfortable and confident knowing he is the same person. And so what I'm going to do is I could switch these people if I wanted to. The person on the right will be my surviving person. The person on the left will be my duplicate. I could switch them if I wanted to. I don't want to, so I'm going to push yes, continue. And I'm waiting a minute. Continue. Here it comes. Okay, so the reason for the merge, before I merge something, I can give a reason why. The information completely matched. There wasn't very much, but if there was new information, it would have given me options to add that. And I could have clicked add and it would have slid over to here. But because it was basic information, there wasn't any. So right now I can click one of these reasons. All vital information and relationships match. ID numbers. And so I couldn't do that right there, right now, because that makes sense to me. These are just shortcuts on why you think the merge is the same. So I'm going to add that. And then I'm also going to write, sometimes you just know it's the same person. And so you can just put as much or as little as you want to in there, but I'm proving, just like I would do an Ancestry or something else, I'm proving this is the same real person. Every time I change something, I'm proving that yes, this is based on records and it's not just me. Even if it's family knowledge, that's what I would type there. I would say, family Bible or something else, so that somebody behind me knows this wasn't just added willy-nilly. And so now if I go into his family, there's only one Franklin there, which I'm like, yay, I got Franklin. Now, if I thought there was another duplicate and it didn't come up, there aren't any more hints here. What I could do is, if I know there's a duplicate, I could go into, and I'm going to show you this right now. I'm going to show you somebody else. If I want to find somebody directly, I can go to find. It takes a long time if you type the person's name and birth date and place in. The coolest thing about Family Search is the PID, is the personal identification number. You can find people by names and places, but I like to find them by ID. And so everybody in Family Search has a 7-digit ID. It is not case sensitive, and you do not have to have the dashes when you type in here. So I want to show you something interesting that I found today. And I was hoping to find something, but I just stumbled across him, because that's what happens, right? So I'm typing in this person here. I can put a dash if I want to, because the format is down here, but I'm going to show you without the dash that it even works. And I wrote this PID down earlier. I always take notes with pencil and paper still when I'm doing things, or I'll screenshot it on my phone or my computer if I want to save it and remember it. But right here, I discovered, and I have a question. I'm going to go to John Ellsworth for a second and then take a question. Yes.
Well, it looks like there's a space.
Yes.
If you don't use this dash, do you have to leave the space?
You don't have to leave the space.
Okay.
So you can type it in any way. they've made a lot of shortcuts on here, so it's really user friendly. So if I go down to John Ellsworth, I see he does not have a spouse, but I know he does. I know Guy Ellsworth. I know him. In fact, I know him so well. I know John Ellsworth so well that I brought a picture of him today. And I've been working on him for a long time. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. How do I stop sharing? I have a picture here of, this is John Ellsworth. I'm trying to get it up high enough for you to see. I have a picture of him. And so I was appalled today when I typed his name in and I got this other John Ellsworth and his son, and there was nobody else, because normally they will show up as duplicates, but I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so I have to go back and I have to hunt around some more. And I did. And so I hunted around and I found out, and I'm going to show you how to merge by ID now. Go back into where we were just a second ago. Okay, so I found my real person, and I know that my real John Ellsworth has way more information than this guy does. So I'm going to go over here to possible duplicates. It doesn't give me any hints, but I know my guy is in there because I've been adding him, and he's been there for a while. It says there are no pending helps for this person, but I want to merge him by ID. That's not what I wanted. Okay, I did it in the wrong place. See how I went to possible duplicates and there was nothing there? I did it in the wrong place. Here I'm going to go to merge by ID. That's where I should have gone. And so now I have the John Ellsworth that I'm currently looking at, and I have the number for my correct John Ellsworth. And I'm going to type it in here, and I'll put the dash in, or actually I won't put it in again. I just want to show you that it does work. H8. Okay. And this is my John Ellsworth. Okay, yay, I found him. He wasn't lost in Family Search forever. I've been putting information in him for a long time, and I knew he was here somewhere. But I don't want to keep the guy on the right. So I'm going to switch them. And it will say, do you want to switch them? Yes, I do want to switch them. It always asks you, do you want to do this? Makes you feel very comfortable before you do anything. Yes, I do want to do this. And so now I'm going to look down here. My vital information is way better than what they have over here. If there's anything new to add, see now this guy Ellsworth is different than the guy Ellsworth here. We're gonna have to do the same thing for him. But it has one source over here, and I have the same source here. Sometimes you'll get things attached to multiple people. I'm going to continue because yes, it is a match. And I'm going to select information I want to save. So right now, I don't want two Guy Ellsworths, or excuse me, two of their sons randomly out and about. But do you see how it added this information from that side? I can undo it if I want to, if I don't like how they added it, and I can put it back over there if I want to. So if there's a residence that I want to undo, I can change it. This is correct, so I'm going to keep it there, because a lot of times when you merge people, there is information that is different. So you add and keep the most accurate information when you're merging, and then you can always go back and edit it later if you want to. So I'm going to keep that, and then I'm going to continue. Why do I think? I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to say, he's my person. No, I'm going to say he's the same person. Same localities. Sometimes I'll say, I'll be specific if I want to. Finish merge. And they kept that other number in there. You'll notice it kept both people. So now my John Ellsworth, who is this picture I just showed you, is here. And he's now got 2 children because we didn't know who the other spouse was, remember? Guy Ellsworth is a different Guy Ellsworth than my Guy Ellsworth. So I'm going to have to go back. I will move on to something else, but when I get home tonight, I won't be able to sleep until I make sure my Guy Ellsworth is the right person. And I kind of keep a rolling tally of people in my queue that I want to work on. I try not to go too many places and just kind of work on the people that are, you know, I need to right then. But I will do that later tonight. So we have him here. I wanted to show you if I wanted to add a marriage date for the wife. There's this little button right here. Looks like this. If I click on that, this is how I add marriages. or divorces. I could see this is the husband, there's the wife. You can do people living together. You can do any type of relationship. So you can add event right here. You can do date of marriage, or you can change it to be a different item. You can do a marriage place, reason the information is correct, just like you're doing. So for example, I wanted to add a divorce. I would select divorce, enter the place, and then enter the sources and the reason why. And then I would save that, and that would be my event. Now the marriage has already been added, so you can see the marriage is added here. I can edit it. This red button means it wants me to make it standardized. And sometimes it's a really good idea to make standardized things, because then the database again will find it for you. So if I click right here, it likes the whole month is a standardized way in Family Search. So I'm just going to click on their suggestion, and then it's going to standardize that up there for me. Come on, you can do it. Add it. Well, I might have to do it here. So click 97 and then click here. Okay, it moved it up there. And then the standard will be selected. So once I save it, that red exclamation mark will disappear. Oh, except I forgot to put, oh no, that should be fine. Anyway, usually it disappears. Sometimes there are little bugs and it takes a minute for things to move away. I can add custom facts here, relationship sources, relationship notes, CL changes. I want to show you the same thing for a child. Now, my Guy is super important. I've been working on him for a long time. I'm going to go into person. And I know that Guy's mom died when he was really little, and that he grew up with another set of parents. And so not too long ago, I don't remember exactly when, I went in and I added a relationship for him with the parents he was living with. So for example, these are his parents, his birth parents, but he also has adopted parents. So Guy is underneath them because I've added that. And it says adopted. If I wanted to change that, so you can have two parents for one person in Family Search, and you can show their relationship very, very easily. If I wanted to show the relationship for Guy, I've already done that, but I'll show you how I did that. I added his parents and then add relationship type. He was living with his mom for like 20 years. This is his adopted mom, but it's already been added, so I won't do it again. But I can do adoptive, biological, foster, guardianship, or step. This is one of my favorite features on Family Search, because I can quickly, and by so doing, prove to people behind me how these relationships exist. Because sometimes people who don't do Family Search, they come in and they're confused about the family relationships. This proves how that person is connected, especially if you have any questions. So for me, I've already added that Guy, and I'm going to X out of this. He was adopted to these parents, and then these are his biological parents up here. And so let's see if I did that. I did. I already put biological here for both of them. And I take time, like I said, to spend a good deal of time on people when I'm doing Family Search, to just flush out into the information that I know or might be of interest to somebody else behind me. Let's see, I wanted to show you something else, but I wanted to do it in a different place. We're going to go to the phone really fast. Oh, there's so much to do. I can't show you everything tonight. I want to show you everything.
A question real quick.
Go ahead.
So John noticed, I think other people did, that there was another user note for when you merged John Ellsworth.
Yes.
Saying that they're not the same person, but you kind of just ignored that and went and did it.
Yes.
Would that normally slow you down if you saw something like that?
You know, that might slow me down, but I ignored it because I've already done the research on it. And so I'm sorry I didn't qualify that. Like I said, I have been going through the censuses. I just went to that cemetery in May. And so I know these people and I know the family. That's a very good question. No, I do not. Sometimes I'll get to the merging. There are still families that I'm getting to the merging. I'm like, I don't feel confident. And therefore I do nothing until I find something to prove. If you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it. But if you wanted to look at recent changes, I'm going to show you something here under tools, latest changes. Now I got to go back to the dad to do it, or it's not going to work here. So remember, we just merged John Ellsworth. This is important. Whatever the most recent change was that you did, you can undo it. So if you merge somebody by accident, you can undo that change if you haven't done anything else yet. If you did accidentally merge and you still have the PID, and Family Search keeps a track of everything. So when you go to recent changes, it'll show you who you merged and what their different identification numbers were. And if you have a problem, you can email Family Search and say, hey, I did this. Will you fix it for me? Will you restore it? And they will. They'll give you a case number, they will restore it, and they are amazing. But going underneath latest changes, so couple event. So I can't undo the merge, and I don't want to, but I can't undo it because I already did a couple event changed. And so I'm going to show you the recent changes on a person. And I can filter it over here. The filters on Family Search are incredible. I really love the filters. But there's a filter there. And then this shows me my change. And then right here, this is the merge. This is exactly what I just selected right here. I could take a long time, and sometimes I do, and prove more why I know this is the same person, and I can put as much information to prove that right here. I could even attach a hyperlink here to something if I wanted to. You can do as much work as you want to right here. For the sake of our time, I just did go through that, but this is an important section, so I'm really glad for your comment. This shows you all of the recent changes for him. This was a different person, and I'll talk about her later, that added this, Shelly. She added the photo. And so you'll see everybody who's ever changed things will be on here. Isn't that cool? Okay, so I wanted to show you a little bit more about we talked a lot about the family tree in the search section, just so you know where things are. If I go into records, this is where I will find, I can search specifically for records in collection and title, but I want to take time to, so this now, what I did up here for search, this drop down box here is now also up here along the top, right here. My ribbon changed. So I can search for images, specific images, by locality. I can also go back. I want to show you a couple of specific things here so you know where they are. I can do the family tree, and this is like other people's trees or genealogies, but catalog is what I wanted to show you. So the catalog is really important, and you can search by place, by person's name, by author, but you can also search directly for call numbers, which are in Ancestry. A lot of times you get a source in Ancestry, they say, oh, FHL has it. The Family History Library in Salt Lake Center has it. This is where you would type in the call number. Or if you have a film or a fish group number, you copy and paste that here, and it takes you straight to it. I didn't take time to look up a specific one. If we do this again, I will. And then I'll show you that you don't actually have to go page by page for that fish. Once you get in there, there's a filter where you can type in the surname, and it will say you're looking for Anderson, and it will show you the 50 people in that 1,000 page long microfiche that are Anderson, and it will help you be finding things more quickly. And so I can do any or online or Family History Center. So sometimes you can only find things online. Sometimes you have to go to Family History Center to look at it. So there are two Family History Centers really close in our area. There's one on Whip Road, 901 East Whip Road. It's at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints building. And then there's another one in Fairborn, and I forget the address, but it's been there for many, many years. Maybe some of you have been there. They have actual hard copy books for this area. And you used to be able to order the films from Salt Lake City. You can't do that anymore. They still have the old readers, so you could put a film on and you can read it there, but they don't let you order them anymore. If you are in Salt Lake City, you can go to the Family History Library and you can look up everything there. But if sometimes it'll say the source is available, but you have to be at a family history center to view it, then you might need to talk to me or somebody else to help you get into the family history center. The difference between the family history center and the family history library is there's only one family history library with a capital L in Salt Lake City. And then the family history centers are the local buildings in each of the counties that you might be able to go to. So this is a really cool section. The book section, again, I just have to show you this. It's so amazing. So say, and this is just something because I'm thinking about Annie Get Your Gun right now. I'm the band administrator for the Centerville Community Band, and we're doing Annie Get Your Gun. And I have ancestors that were in Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show. So I'm just going to type in Buffalo Bill, and I love doing research for them. I am still doing research for them. I need to actually go to Cody, Wyoming again and go through their archives because there are only things there that I can get access to. But if I type in Buffalo Bill, I can look down here and I can see books about Buffalo Bill. I have lots and lots of choices. And these are like full PDFs. These are full free books that you can see. Just like Ancestry has books, read the full text. I can go through here, and some of them say log in. If I click log in, it will recognize that I'm part of Family Search already, because sometimes people get to it not being a member of Family Search. And then I can click on these and I can actually see the whole PDF, which is so cool. A lot of people don't know about this wonderful resource that's on Family Search. So I can read a book. I do a lot of really square reading. They have the summer reading program right now. My books that I'm reading are things like this. So, you know, maybe some of you are like me.
If you have something that, like a book, but not, you know, not a book, but it's got a lot of genealogy, can you have that submitted, or do you?
Yes, you can submit family history books. And
I'll show you tomorrow.
Yeah, you can actually submit books to the Family History Library in Salt Lake City. And I have taken hard copy books for friends of mine who are not members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who spent years compiling their family history, and they really want to make sure other people who are looking for their family names have access to this book. The BYU Library also has a really great family history center, and they will accept books there too. And once you take a book to either the BYU Library or the Family History Library in Salt Lake City, they will catalog it and make sure it's appropriate, and then they'll stick it on their shelf as well as make a digital copy. Now, some places we still don't have the rights to things. And so some things you can still find hard copy in Salt Lake that you can't find on here because the church has not paid for digital images yet. Sometimes you can find those on Ancestry though, or on Fold 3. So I use all places when I'm researching and when I put information in. I'm going to go into the wiki really fast. I want to show you the wiki before we end tonight. And then really quickly, if everybody has 5 more minutes, I want to show you what the app looks like. So come on, little wiki. Okay. So the wiki is fantastic. I love this wiki. It's so cool. So it's actually really user friendly. If I want to, I can click on any place in the world and like it'll make it smaller and smaller and smaller. Like I can click on Ohio here, but I know a faster way to get to Ohio. So I'm going to go up here.
Open the door and walk outside.
Yeah. Okay. So I am clicking on that, and then I'm going to click on this and see what happens. Okay. So this gives me some different ideas, but what I'm looking for is their main page that kind of looks like Wikipedia. And so here I am on this main page, and it is a fantastic page. I love this page. It is edited by Family Search. So just like Wikipedia, you can add things to it yourself, but unlike Wikipedia, only the Family Search people can accept that and place it on their pages. So it is censored, and it has reliable links that are active and that are live and that people go through. So it tells me right off the bat where this county is, where the address is for things. It tells me known beginning dates from major county records. I have been in their genealogical society. It is awesome. They have these records everywhere. It is so cool. Anyway, it tells me boundary changes. They're not completely accurate here, but it gives me an interactive map. It also tells me the cities. It tells me the villages, the communities. It tells me the townships. I can click on these Now, it doesn't always have everything in it, but one of the things that I like to do is it gives me hyperlinks for the cemeteries in that area that have affiliates on some of the major websites. So like not everybody is in Find a Grave yet, right? But I know that this county does have that, and it has tombstone transcriptions in print. These are still cool, just like Cindy's list used to be. I use the wiki for a lot of stuff. It's way more reliable than the Wikipedia is, but it also directs you to the other links that we're familiar with and that we use. It has the records here, church records. Not everything's filled out for every county. And so if you wanted to be somebody who would add the funeral homes for, say, Cambridge, Guernsey County, then you could do that. And then Family Search would say, oh, okay, that's cool, that's accurate. And then it would then appear here. And so this is just maps and gazetteers, military records that they have collections to. This is another way to find specifically where you're looking for. I use the wiki for localities. So if I am looking to learn more about a locality before I visit it, because I go to cemeteries a lot and I go to other places, I use the wiki to help me get a better understanding. And it's very reliable, even more reliable than, say, Wikipedia. Any questions about the wiki? That was just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things you can find. If you want a homework assignment from me for Family Search, this would be it. Go to the wiki and explore, because it's so cool. For whoever you're looking for in the whole world, remember, this is worldwide. We don't have to pay for it. We don't have to subscribe to the UK Ancestry or the other, subscriptions over there. We can still find records in Family Search over in Australia, over in UK. I can click over in Asia, which I haven't done research in, so I won't. But I can click in Belgium, and it will tell me some of the places in Belgium, the provinces. I can be specific, and I can get there this way. And it's a great idea before you're traveling to do some research, because I always do genealogy when I'm traveling. So that's a kind of an overview really fast. Memories is important. This is the gallery of things that you've added. Family Search only adds appropriate pictures. They censor their pictures. And so if you're trying to add, not that it would be bad, but for an example, if you're adding a baby in a diaper that was taken in the 1950s, they may not want that picture on there. They are making sure that everything is completely kosher and good to add as a picture. In fact, I usually don't add living people. Just that's me when I'm taking like headstone photos and adding them or anything else. I'm very careful about who I add. A lot of my stuff you'll see are newspaper clippings, because I have an account to newspapers.com. And that's a service I feel I can provide on Family Search. I can save those clippings and attach them to my people. So my gallery is kind of dry. You'll get some real pictures. I've been saving some passport photos and attaching them. And then you'll also get pictures of headstones here, things that I've added. So this is some of the stuff from my gallery. And you can add audio to, you can record things 20 seconds long. You could say, I remember when I went to get ice cream with Grandpa Peterson. And you can just say that, and you can add it as an audio file. It's so cool. I have a file I was listening to last night of my husband's grandpa from World War II. And what a treasure that is. And so you can add documents, you can add photos, but it's even easier to add photos on the app, which is what I want to show you really fast before we finish. And then get involved. This is where you can find opportunities to do service for family history very easily, very safely. You can find ideas down here, but you can also sign up for specific batches here, or you can sign up specifically to help with the United States Census, the 1950 census. You can join groups. So it's really cool. You can see right here, there's a real-time map on how the census is turning out. This is the percentage of the census being reviewed right now across the country. Sorry, so you can see that there still is a lot to do here in Ohio. So if you wanted to sign up to help in Ohio, you can. And this is a good, safe place to do that. Then activities, again, these are really cool things that you can take time to do. For example, Record my story, compare a face is super funny. You can compare a face to an ancestor that you have the picture in. You have to add a picture of your ancestor, or it won't be able to do that. And it's easier to do this on the phone than it is on the computer, because I don't have things saved to the library computer. I'm not going to want to like take a selfie and add it to Brian's computer right now. But this is a fun activity you can do. Come on, I accept for a minute. Okay, but I'm actually going to get out of this. I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you guys for being on here. I want to show you the phone though, so you see. Brian, how do I do that?
You can actually just click on the phone right there.
I can click on the phone from here.
No, yes, right there.
Sweet. Okay, so here's my phone,
And click share.
and then I have to go somewhere else on my phone to do this. And then once we get into the phone, come on, Zoom program. I think it's working. I have a family.
Where's the phone click button?
Okay, so on Family Tree is an app. This is it looks like this. Family Tree I'm going to close out again so you can see. There's this little Family Tree icon, and you can add this to a Chromebook or somewhere else. So I'm going to click on my Family Tree app, and you'll see a lot of the same things that you just saw a minute ago on. So they're both the same database. However, if I change things in the phone, it usually takes overnight, 24 hours sometimes, until it syncs. So if I'm doing things on both my laptop or my desktop and my phone, I might not see both of those changes until the next day, just because it takes time to sync. So on here, I'll see some of the same things I was just doing, but I'm going to click on my tree. This is my tree right here. Recents. These are my people I was just looking at. There's John. I'm going to go actually to Michael for a minute. So here is Michael McGinnis. I'm really happy about Michael. I love Michael, and I just found on 3 weeks ago his will. And so I attached it right here underneath memories. And you can do a better job than attaching it than what I've done, but you can really zoom in on these things, and they're really hard to capture, you know, screenshots of things. But when I add a photo or something, I will label it at the bottom, and it will tell you who contributed. And then there are several different images, so I number them 1, 2, or whatever, 3. But I always label whatever the photograph is. If I didn't like this, so for example, this one right here, I haven't labeled this one. But if I accidentally added something, I can go up to the 3 dots in the top, and I can actually delete it. And so just to show you, I'm going to say delete memory. You can delete that, yeah. So if you accidentally select something on your phone, then you can delete it. I'm going to go in and show you how we're looking at my person, John Ellsworth. Remember, this is the bad person that we didn't merge, remember? Or he was merged, but he's not on here because my computer and my phone haven't synced yet. So I'm going to go into more. I'm going to go find a person, find by ID. I'm going to show you that again. So once you're on an actual person, for example, Michael, this is his homepage on the phone, and you'll see what we have for him. He was born a long time ago, and so I'm still researching him. It says his spouse and then his children. This is my grandma, Catherine Ann Mcginnis. I've been to her headstone many, many times in Tecumseh, Nebraska. And so I added that photograph of her, and I only knew about 5 of the kids until 3 weeks ago. I knew there were more, but I didn't know who they were until I found Michael McGinnis's probate records. So it was really exciting. I've been researching this line right now. And then I can see who Michael's parents are. These are the best I know about them. And then I can see, like I said, the sources, the memories. I'm going to, let's see here. Now I need to go into recents. No, okay, more again. Find a person, because it hasn't synced yet. I need to keep my guy, LKVDFH8. Here he is. Okay, so this is my guy, John. And if I go into memories, I'll see a picture right here. Now this picture has a really cool story, but it's not actually the full picture of the one I have. I was doing research and I got contacted underneath more. There's something that says messages. I got contacted by this lady named Shelley. And Shelley she found a photograph. I thought this was the coolest hobby I'd ever heard of. And so Shelley, she goes around to places like antique stores and she finds special family photographs. And if they have information on them, she tries to find them either in Ancestry or in Family Search and then connect those photographs with their family. And I thought, that's awesome. Because remember, I told you I've been researching John Ellsworth for a long time. And so Shelley gave me the photo like a month ago. And so I took a better picture than the one she did. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to add a memory. I go to the plus button in the bottom of my phone. I can add a document, a story, audio, or photo right here. Again, the plus button changes what it does depending on which screen you're in. So if I'm in sources, if I push the plus button, it will change what I can do with it. If I'm in details and I add the plus button on my phone, it will change where I can add, this is that cool information we were talking about earlier. And so spouses, this is where I would edit relationships here by pushing the pencil button. Parents, again, I can do that. Sources, memories. So memories is where I want to add a photo because I took a photo. I can choose from the photo. I can take the photo right then and there if I'm in a cemetery, for example, or at a library and I wanted to put a document in right then and there. I can choose it from my camera roll or from my files on my phone or my device or from my Family Search gallery. Remember the memories section I showed you earlier? That is the Family Search gallery. That's everything saved there. So if you have the same photo and you want to attach it to 10 people in the same family, you can just by having it there. So I'm going to go into camera roll though, because I haven't done this yet. I saved it earlier and I cropped it earlier. So I'm going to add these 2 photos. I can add up to 10 at a time. And I could actually also search using my phone. I could search for the date and place that I had these things. I can go 6-6-2022 and it will narrow it. Maybe I took the photo like a year ago, but I kind of know where it is. Or I can search by locality that same kind of way. And so these are photos I took that day, but I'm just going to go cancel out of that because I already had it in my albums here. And so I want to add the 2 recent ones that I have selected. I can add up to 10 at a time. And I just add them and they take a minute to sync. And the reason I wanted to add this, and you can see now, sometimes somebody will add a photo and you have the same photo, but you might have a better image of that photo. It's okay for you to add it too, because she just added him, which is awesome. But I kind of wanted the whole picture just because I love old photographs. And what I really wanted was on the back. I wanted this written stuff because I thought that was so cool. This proves who this person is. And that's how she knew to connect it. So I can add a title right here. You know, I can say John Ellsworth. I can be as specific as I want to be, which I usually am. So I'll go back and do more of that later. But I can save it. It's still syncing right now. And it tells when I added it. And there you go. So I'll probably go back and add that and say the back of the photo. So however I do that, I'll say back. You know, and I have a certain way that I add things. But that is, in a nutshell, Family Search for you today. So thank you for your time and your help. And I'm sorry if you're kind of bleary-eyed.
Well, thank you, Heidi. That was wonderful. It was great. That was a lot of information. So
Yeah.
we may have to digest that and have questions for you in
Yes.
later meetings.
Yeah, we can definitely, these were the basics on that. This tells a lot of the same things we were talking about. This is that gentleman that I told you about. The app, just in closing, these are reasons why you want to use the app. I use both, is because there are only things you can do on the app that you can't do on the computer. For example, the map My Ancestors, I didn't show you that a minute ago, but you can check that out and it will hop you over, like wherever I am in Ohio, it will show me the ancestors that are directly around me. So say I am traveling cross country, which I do a lot, and I want to visit a cemetery and I want to see who's close by me. If I'm on my phone and I click map my ancestors, it will show me, oh, you just detour this way 50 miles and you can go to so-and-so's birthplace. And so you can also do this other thing called view my relationship with living people if you have the app. Not just those who are deceased, like I showed you earlier, but if somebody else has the family tree app on their phone and their tree is kind of full and I have it, I can say, let's see if we're related, which is super cool.
We
So,
did that at a luncheon we went to when Cindy Williams came to town. And
yeah,
there's about 15 of us that were related.
yeah.
I
So,
also-
yeah,
I was also just
ahead.
recently at a funeral, and while I wasn't related to the people at the funeral that I knew, we did that, and I found out I was like 9th cousin twice removed or something like that, with so many people in that room. So we found relatives. It was really, really cool.
So Roots Tech has started this thing where you can enable relationships if you allow people to see you, like cousins and stuff, when you're attending Roots Tech. I am a really careful genealogist, so I haven't actually done that yet. I mean, some people, you can do that. I don't think anybody's doing anything. I mean, I just have my certain genealogy stuff that I feel comfortable doing. But you can actually, if enabled, it allows you to view relationships between living relatives too. And so sometimes you can share a tree with somebody just like you can an ancestry. And so they can both see it. And I do, you know, things like that sometimes on a case-by-case basis. And then, yeah, this is just my 4th great grandpa who was pretty awesome. So, all right. So thank you. Anybody else have a question? How do I stop?
I do. I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
I saw that it was being recorded. Can we access the recording to go back over some of this stuff again?
Yes, I will edit it a little bit and then I will post it to the library's as a YouTube channel. And I will send out the link to that video at that point. It may take me a little bit to get it where you want to be able to watch it, but yes, we'll have that available.
Great. My sister in Michigan wants me to come up and for a week just to sit down and do genealogy together. And she doesn't use Family Search. She uses Ancestry. And I thought maybe I could introduce her to Family Search. And this would
I'm
be.
gonna share my email in the link right now before we close this. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. And if you have specific questions, if you want me to help you in a certain spot of your tree, please send me an email. I play trombone. That's why it sounds so funny. I play trombone. And so my email is tboneheidi@hotmail.com. And I have had that email for I'm getting some laughs here. I've had that email for as long as I've been doing family history, which is actually longer. I've had that email since 1999. And I've been doing family history for about 20 years now. So.
Well, that's super. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So yeah, digest.
Heidi, what was that T-Bone Heidi, what?
At hotmail.com. So like, I don't know if
Thank
you have any friends that played trombone, but we all go by T-Bone.
No.
TBONEHEIDI at hotmail.com. And
Thank
I can
you.
tell you're all a little bit glazed, but please, if you're thinking on something, please send me an email. And depending on the interest, we can do another something sometime that's more focused. This was just kind of a general overview for Family Search. So, but thanks.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
awesome. We'll be meeting next month at our regular time, the second Wednesday at 6:30. So hope to see you all there. And have a good evening.